Hey, shalom, shalom. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, the great millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect out here pushing this truth and sincerity. The water for which y'all do, we love you. We appreciate you through the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and shalom to y'all. It's your brother Dawud Dodd from the Great Millstone Camp in Atlanta. Lord willing to give you an edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls God. His name is Yahweh, meaning he is, or he to be, or he exists. Who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His name is Yahweh Shai, meaning he is the Savior, or he is the deliverer. He saves, he delivers. If you're watching this now, you're a so-called black, Native American, or Latino man or woman, then you are a Hebrew Israelite according to the Holy Bible. You will not find black, Native American, or Latino in the Bible. So you need to know who you are according to the Bible. All right? There's certain people in the Bible was promised the covenants, the glory, the kingdom, and salvation. If you don't look like a so-called black, Native American, or Latino, that does not mean that you can't perceive salvation. That does not mean that you're not a Hebrew Israelite. That does not, especially if you believe in this truth and you feel like it resonates with your spirit. It's a good possibility you could be a Hebrew Israelite. It does not matter what you look like. It does not matter what color your skin is. It only matters that your bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob had his name later changed to Israel. Israel in the Hebrew is Yasharallah, meaning he is a prince of the power. 2 Samuel 5, verse 1. Now we got the subtitle reading, David King over all Israel. We saw what happened beforehand. Let's dig into it. If you remember what happened beforehand, you had the house of David versus the house of Saul. All right, Mephibosheth was actually killed, head chopped off while he was in his bed. He was stabbed under his fifth rib. They chopped his head off and they brought it to David. David slew those men. All right. Joab was slain. Wait, Slacky, I gotta make sure I got my facts right. Ishbosheth. Abner, yeah, Salakia. Yeah, Abner was I said Joab. I don't know how that was off. I believe it was Joab, and they killed him for his brother Asahel or Asael. Abner, the son of Ner. So David had curse. Yeah, Joab and Abishai. Okay, he slew Asahel. Yeah, he cursed his whole household, man. But let's get into it. Verse 1, 2 Samuel 5:1 says, Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron, and spake, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh, which they are family. That's what that means. It says also, in time past, when Saul was king over us, thou wast he that leddest out and broughtest in Israel. And the Lord said to thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be a captain over Israel. So all the elders of Israel came to the king of Hebron, and King David made a league with them in Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel. David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. In Hebron, he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, and in Jerusalem, he reigned 33 years over all Israel and Judah. And the king and his men went to Jerusalem unto the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, which spake unto David, saying, Except thou take away the blind and the lame, thou shalt not come in hither, thinking David cannot come in hither. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion. The same is the city of David. And David said on that day, Whosoever getteth up to the gutter and smiteth the Jebusites and the lame and the blind that are hated of David's soul, he shall be chief and captain. Wherefore they said, The blind and the lame shall not come into the house. So David dwelt in the fort and caught it in the city of David. And David built round about from Milo and inward. And David went on and grew great, and the Lord power of hosts was with him. And Hiram, the king of Tyre, sent messages to David, and cedar trees and carpenters and masons, and they built David an house. And David perceived that the Lord had established him king over Israel, and that he had exalted his kingdom for his people Israel's sake. And David took him more concubines and more wives out of Jerusalem. There go that right there. Yeah, more concubine, more wives out of Jerusalem. You know, we got to be real. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, can have many women. Right? It says after he was come from Hebron, and they were yet sons and daughters and born to David. And these be the names of those that were born to him in Jerusalem: Shemua, and Shobab, and Nathan, and Solomon, and Eber, also, and Elishua, and Nepheg, and Japhia, and Elishama, and Eliada, and Eliphalet. It's like war with the Philistines. It says, but when the Philistines heard that they had anointed David king over Israel, all the Philistines came up to seek David, and David heard of it and went down to the hold. The Philistines also came and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of the Lord. See, there we learned that from the last couple chapters, all right, or the last few chapters, all right, that David would always inquire of the Lord first, all right. That's humble. That's understanding who your master is. It's understanding that you need to seek advice first, right? You need to seek mentorship, that you have faith in the Lord, that you trust in him. Right? It says, and David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I go up to the Philistines without delivering them into my hand? And the Lord said unto David, go up, for I will doubtless deliver the Philistines into thine hand. And David came to Baal Perazim, and David smote them there, and said, the Lord hath broken forth upon my enemies before me as a breach of waters. Therefore he called the name of that place Baal Perazim. And there they left their images, and David and his men burned them. See, yeah, because you don't respect, you got people in America that always say, I respect all creeds of religions and faiths. And no, you don't do that. He said he burned them. He didn't say, oh, let's let them worship their gods and respect them. No, he burned them. You see? And the Philistines came up yet again and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And when David inquired of the Lord, he said, thou shalt not go up, but fetch a compass behind them, and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. And let it be, when thou hearest the sound of a going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt bestir thyself. For then shall the Lord go out before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. And David did so, as the Lord had commanded him, and smote the Philistines from Geba until thou come to Gazer. Samuel 6, 2 Samuel 6 and 1 says, peril in moving the ark. Again, David gathered together all the chosen men of Israel, 30,000. And David arose and went with all the people that were with him from Baalah of Judah to bring up from thence the ark of God, whose name is called by the name of the Lord of hosts, that dwelleth between the cherubims. And they set the ark of God upon a new cart, and brought it out of the house of Abinadab that was in Gibeah, and Uzzah and Ahio, the sons of Abinadab, drave the new cart, and they brought it out of the house of Abinadab, which was at Gibeah, accompanying the ark of God. And Ahio went before the ark. And David and all the house of Israel played before the Lord on all manner of instruments made of fir wood, even on harps, and on psalteries, and on timbrels, and on cornets, and on cymbals. And when they came, Nachon's threshing floor, when they came to Nachon's, or Nachon's threshing floor, I'm not too sure how that one is pronounced.
Strong's H 5225. Nachon. Nachon.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was Nachon. So it means prepared. And when they came to Nachon's threshing floor, Uzzah put forth his hand to the ark of God and took hold of it. For the oxen shook it, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah. And God smote him there for his error, and there he died by the ark of God. And David was displeased because the Lord had made a breach upon Uzzah. And he called the name of the place Perusa to this day. And David was afraid of the Lord that day and said, how shall the ark of the Lord come to me? So David would not remove the ark of the Lord unto him into the city of David, but David carried it aside into the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. And the ark of the Lord continued in the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite 3 months. And the Lord blessed Obed-Edom and all his household. The ark is brought to Jerusalem. And it was told King David, saying, the Lord hath blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that pertaineth unto him because of the ark of God. So David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom into the city of David with gladness. And it was so that when they that bare the ark of the Lord had gone 6 paces, he sacrificed oxen and fatlings. And David danced before the Lord with all his might, and David was girded with the linen ephod. So David all the house of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouting and with the sound of the trumpet. And as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window and saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, and she despised him in her heart. Why would you despise your husband? Doesn't that make any sense? And really, them damn demons jumped on her because she was with another man. Damn demons, yo. It says, and they brought in the ark of the Lord and set it in his place in the midst of the tabernacle that David had pitched for it. And David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And as soon as David had made an end of offering burnt offerings and peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of the Lord of hosts. And he dealt among all the people, even among the whole multitude of Israel, as well to the women as men, to everyone a cake of bread and a good piece of flesh and a flagon of wine. So all the people departed, everyone to his house. Then David returned to bless his household, and Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, how glorious was the king of Israel today, to uncover himself today in the eyes of the handmaids of his servants, as one of the vain fellows shamelessly uncovered himself. And what like a nigger woman to try to talk to you about anything? That's the thing, man. Like, not coming to say, hey, my Lord, you brought the Ark of the Covenant to the city, and I love you. You know, you came dancing and singing, and you look so beautiful out there. None of that shit. No, she got to talk shit because of other women. That's that damn jealousy that these goddamn women have. You know, I'm a king. I'm allowed multiple women. Doesn't matter who I choose, whether it be a handmaid or whoever it may be. If I wanted, man, but look, here it comes. Let's listen to what King David says. It says, and David said unto Michal, it was before the Lord which chose me before thy father, and before all his house, talking that cash shit. So appoint me ruler over the people of the Lord, over Israel. Therefore will I play before the Lord, and I will be yet more vile than thus, and will be base in my own sight. And of the maidservants which thou hast spoken of them shall I be had in honor. Of course he's going to be had in honor. To be with the king? You dumb chick, you should have shut your mouth. It says, therefore Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no child until the day of her death. Yeah, because she was talking that crap, so she got pretty much cursed. So, Lord willing, he was edified. That's just a quick kind of read through. You know, we kind of reading these chapters. We just kind of, you know, getting a foresight of, understanding of these different accounts our forefathers went through. But Lord willing, he was edified. I want to end it off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Chakadash, the Apostles, the great Muslim, well. Peace and blessing to the whole for elect, and shalom.